Good morning, good afternoon, anything but good evening. I hope I didn't lose the entire day doing my thing and being me. I just want to say welcome to everybody who's going to join us, who's going to watch this, who's going to see the recording of it. Welcome to Wingless Plus Day. We do this once a year, basically, and we go over all things in Wingless. We go over what's going to happen, kind of what's going to go down, kind of a roadmap for the future. Uh, a lot of things are good. No, excuse me. Everything is good. A lot of things are happening, and a lot of things are in transition. So, obviously, I just want to take a couple seconds to say that we have one of our first guests and one of our first supporters in here. Obviously, Brett Hillisham will be joining us in just a second. He's been with us since we started, and I keep saying we like I'm more than one person. Since I started Wingless Comics, and I think he's second only to Malachi. So we will get to that. First, I want to say thank you all for your support. We're going on 4 years now of doing this. I've personally been able to churn out 8 comics in about 10 technical justice and Nightfall comics in just under 3 years. So that's been a pretty awesome accomplishment. And I'm so thankful that you guys supported us and continue to support us. So thank you. I can't thank you guys enough for that. It means everything to me, truly. I got to have my first really, really big accomplishment here. We finished Nightfall, the complete saga. We finally have some trade paperback issues fully printed by Comic Wellspring, who, if you guys follow us, you know Comic Wellspring. We print a lot of books with them. They're a really, really great company. They also sponsor Indie Comics Dispatch. They got a really cool commercial that they run with them every day, and they're just a really huge supporter of the indie comics community. So again, huge shout out to them. Huge thank you to them. They shepherded me through the entire process. They even hit me up a little bit after so that the next run will be even better. I just thank you to them and thank you to this awesome book. We got 150 fucking pages of Wingless Comics goodness. I was not expecting 150 pages. It is a journey, but I am loving it. So obviously I have some more announcements that I'm going to make myself, but before I talk too much, I want to bring Brett on and I'll let him talk so I can sit back for a little bit.
Hey.
What's going on, Brett? How you doing, man?
Good. I had a work call that ran over. So else I would have been here with you at the beginning of the broadcast.
Oh, no worries. No worries. I almost was like, and broadcasting from an undisclosed location somewhere in the Milky Way galaxy, but then I was like, oh, that's the other
Wait,
thing.
different show.
Right. Right, man. Again, thank you, obviously, for being here, one. Because it's kind of cool to just chart what we want to do and what we're gonna do. That's a really fun piece to me. But also, it's just great to kind of do some of these things and kind of all of us get together and talk.
Agreed. Some of my favorite conversations between you and I, you, me, and Mal, and some of the others is when we're talking about the future and the different ideas we have. And so getting another year past and another year down on paper is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And we also have like a lot of things, right? Like we have like a lot of not little milestones, but like milestones that each of us will independently reach, which will therefore bring about like a really awesome year. So I'm looking forward to that as well. That being said, what do you have, or what do we have? What can we expect from Immortalis in the future?
So this year we'll definitely see, not hopefully see, right? Part 2 of Immortalis. Copies of part 1 are hitting people's mailboxes right now. I was excited to see that. Word to the wise, never try to get something printed right at Christmas time and expect a fast turnaround, because that doesn't happen.
No, certainly not.
Anywhere, no matter where you get it printed. So those are hitting, and so I am really hopeful that year 2 here we'll see part 2 of Immortalis release, probably around the same time it did this past year. We're also looking at part part two, the next part of the Book of Gailu, which is a prose story telling kind of the history of Gailu and where she started at, and then all the way up to where she meets Constantine for the first time in Patras, which is Immortalis issue 0. So yeah,
So
issue
kind of
2,
like a history book
a
of
history
the
book.
universe we're in,
Hmm.
correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Hmm. Might
Hmm.
there be some other things that we can tease the audience with concerning the
Yeah.
history of the Wingverse, as Malachi loves to call it?
That's its name now. No matter,
I
that's what
know, right?
everybody's going to call it.
Right.
Um. So yeah. The Book of Gailu kind of brought out this idea among us that we should do this for the entire Wingless universe. Kind of tell some of the lore, some of the storytelling stuff without having to sit through or do the production of a whole graphic novel or anything about it. It's going to be almost like a Bible version of the history of the Wingless universe. And so we are going to try hard to get at least part one out of that this year. Maybe two parts, I don't know, depending upon how it goes. And that'll be, I think, it won't be its own thing. It'll be in addition to various campaigns. It'll be an add-on to various campaigns we do throughout the year, and downloadable from the website is, I think, what we talked about.
Yes, yes, yes. And since I'm overly ambitious sometimes and a little bougie, I'm gonna work on getting us some leather bound
Yeah,
versions if we can, because that'll be really fucking cool.
that'd be really cool. And I love books like that. I love mythology. I love history. Obviously, I mean that's what my whole fucking title's about, right?
Yeah.
But I love that. And so when you asked me if I could help work on that, I was honored, and I'm excited to do it too, because I can't wait to kind of start getting some of that stuff down on paper.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want to say a quick shout out to Danny J. Quick, author of Ace Blade, creator of Ace Blade, and Fourth Wall Productions CEO. What's going on, Danny? Obviously, Danny and I do a lot of work together. I'm actually editor on Ace Blade, the Cream Saga, which is obviously in stores now. And he's always doing great things. And he is a fool on TikTok. So, I mean, good job, man. I could never, dude. Yeah, so the Book of Gailu obviously for me sparked some interest, and I love that, like you said, mythology and lore and building all these things.
Mhm.
And comics are a hard medium sometimes, so
Yeah.
without a ton of money and a ton of underwriting, you've got to get a way to get these stories out. And I thought that uh, doing a similar prose book for not the entirety of the Wingless Comics universe or the history, excuse me, but
Yeah.
for a lot of it, you know what I mean? It'll fill in some of the gaps, which I think is pretty
Yeah.
awesome. I want to say shouts out to Concrete Comics as well. They just joined the stream. What's going on, gentlemen? Thank you guys. And congratulations to you guys on making that diamond deal. I see you guys doing big things. I know you're relaunching you guys' website, a bunch of comics coming out, a bunch of titles that you've just added. I saw you guys added like 5 or 6 new creators. So, hey man, congratulations on you guys, and I look to see what you guys are going to do in the future, as always. Anybody who knows obviously knows I started with Concrete Comics, so it's always love on that end. What is next? The hidden links, which is what attracts me to Immortalis.
Mhm.
Immortalis, obviously, it's billed, it's a historical fiction. These battles really went on. What I
Mhm.
like, what we're able to do is weave them in and out of our world. But one thing that I think that you and I both neglected to mention heavily enough is that uh, Immortalis is the tipping point. So the
Mhm.
world of Wingless Comics is a darker version of the world that we live in. There are things that go on there. People know about vampires. People know about what we would quote unquote classify as evil now. Like it's an everyday occurrence. Um, and the ultimate fall of the Roman Empire
Mhm.
is like the nail in the coffin, right? Like that is the thing that sets up the next 400 years of quote unquote darkness
Yep.
and the time we're in now. So obviously the story of Immortalis is a pretty big linchpin to that. In addition
Mhm.
to being a love story and being historical fiction, it is the turning point, and this is why we started it. It's the turning point of of the Wingless universe. I like to say
Mhm.
that there was a quote, and I don't remember who. Maybe it's Stephen King, but it's like sometimes we fight the darkness, and sometimes the darkness wins.
Yep.
One of my favorite quotes, and I think it's also not. I think it's also the basis for certain things that have happened. Black Panther has gotten not lambasted, but it's gotten talked about. Of hey, why would Wakanda have all this technology and not help out,
Mhm.
other people during the slave trade? So I beg that question myself. Why would Justice have all his power and he could do all these things and he's, an angel? Why wouldn't they help these people that were in, obviously, people that I
Yeah.
descend from in this horrible situation? And Immortalis, the Wingless Universe, all this stuff is more set up to where good doesn't always win. It
Yeah.
sucks,
Yeah.
right? But it's an actual war.
Mhm.
And we actually take losses. And I consider the transatlantic slave trade and the hundreds of years that went on, a loss for the good side. They are losing this battle the entire time,
Yeah.
and now are just slightly starting to recover in our current wingless timeline.
Mhm.
So, how do you view, having said all of that, right? Like the long ass paragraph story, how do you view Immortalis and the characters, more importantly, in Immortalis with regard to that?
Um, so you kind of have two sides of the coin there, right? You have Constantine and Lucas who are kind of like, "Yay, everything's good, we can win." Like they're your good, happy-go-lucky hero type. They really represent the sentiment of that pre-tipping point in the Wingless universe. Like, good can win if we just all band together. And then you have Gailu, who has been on the dark side. She's been through the shit, and she's like, "Nah, like you can't. You just you just gotta stay away from them. Like, just
Yeah,
fuck it. Like, you can't do this." And so it's funny seeing a character like Gailu, who would really fit nicely in the modern wingless timeline, kind of come up against Lucas in particular, who is this kind of brilliant strategist, but sometimes aloof, but always positive type guy. And their interactions, and realizing that this is the tipping point where people like Lucas are going to be less and less common as we move forward throughout the wingless timeline, because everybody knows there's monsters, right? The things that haunt us in our nightmares are actually real, and they're fucking up the world.
yeah,
So it's really interesting. It's really cool to be able to write that kind of point in the wingless history.
yeah, yeah. I am 100% all about it. Obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But I just think it's a real fun time and a real
Hmm.
great method of storytelling,
Yeah, and
which
all
is one
the,
of the.
as we talk about it and find all the new um connections, like I swear every month goes by and we establish a new connection from Immortalis to the greater wingless universe, just because we haven't talked about something minor and then we talk about it and you're like, oh fuck yeah, and that connects to this, and
Yeah,
I'm like, oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah. A really big part, and I think we just did this the other day. A really big part is remembering who our cast of characters are,
Yeah.
right? And so again, I don't know how many history buffs we have out here, but if you research, or even if you watch Netflix at this point, the story of Mehmed,
Hmm.
um, you'll figure it out, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil everything, but you'll figure out where the next story arc
Hmm.
of Immortalis is going. So again, stay tuned. Like it's awesome. Danny J. Quick asked, how many projects are dropping in 2023? Ooh, so Danny, that's a layered question for me and probably for Brett as well, right?
Hmm.
If we are talking about my projects, considerably more. If we're talking about Wingless, you're going to see Justice number 4. You're going to see Scarlet Knight number 3. And I guess I'm just announcing this now. I jumped ahead of myself. Um, our friend of Scarlet Knight fame or infamy, I don't know which one I want to call it right now, but Jay Allen is he's obviously, we've already listed it before, but he's joined
Hmm.
Wingless Comics. So the plan is actually to have him on Kickstarter with Scarlet Knight number 3, basically his introduction to Wingless Comics and the Wingless Comics universe, um, on Kickstarter in March. So again, Scarlet Knight, Justice number 4, Avery number 2, Immortalis #2, Her #2, and you will have a sprinkling of Lux and Caliburn in there as always. And I'm also pretty proud to finally announce we're actually going to get a little Jinx and the Destroyers mini, which I'm really looking forward to. So we got we're up to 6 projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So at least you're going to get at least excuse me 6 projects from us. Um, 7 actually, 7 projects, and at least 4 of them will be full books. So what we employ here, man, is again, comics are not an easy medium to produce, to continue. So what we like to do is try to get you guys as many stories as we can, and sometimes that comes in the forms of minis. Because again, we want to get this stuff out there, and so sometimes the easiest way to do that is to kind of piecemeal some of it. So that's what we'll be doing in order to get that. Oh shit, 8, because the book of Wingless, as we
Yeah.
said. So yeah, you're gonna get 8 projects from us
And at least
interspersed.
5 are full books.
Yeah, geez, yeah,
Yeah.
interspersed throughout the entire year. So at least 8. Um, Brett, do you have any other? I mean, to answer Danny's question, any other projects that we've got?
No, not right now. I mean, gears are always turning, but no. My goal before I do any other projects is to get all 4 parts of Immortalis out, because it's a 4-part miniseries to begin with, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome, awesome. I do not know what taking my time and doing something in the correct form is. Uh, so, I mean, I guess I'll take this time to. I don't like to toot my own horn, but to say some of the other projects I got going.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, obviously, and Danny knows this. I'll be editing for Ace Blade, and hopefully, we get those last 2 issues edited for this story arc, and we can get that out. I have an unannounced project or an untitled project with Subsume Media coming out. So shouts out again to Dedrin and Robert Jeffrey and all those
Mm-hmm.
guys that work over there. Um, an unannounced project with 133 Art, who is also our printing partner.
Mm-hmm.
So we will have something towards the middle or third quarter this year. What else? I have another 5 issues that I will be writing for Overseas Gaming Company, GMR. It'll be real fun. It's very, very, very different than anything I'm writing right now, but it's a really fun. And hopefully they'll be dropping it on their website and for wide release this year. That's the plan. What else do I have? Another untitled project with Unlikely Hero Studios, who obviously we do a lot of business with. Lori Foster and Eric Foster and Sarah White. They are great, great, great people. So I'll be with them as well. I'm taking over Emerald Quest for FSK. So you'll see 2 issues of Emerald Quest this year. Gosh, and I think that's it. Fingers crossed that it is.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
This is the life we asked for. I don't know if I necessarily did, but no, I'm really happy about it. And it's pretty fucking awesome, man. It's great to be in a position where you can tell stories and have people receptive to them.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm thankful. I'm very, very, very thankful. I feel the same way about Nightfall. Like, it was a dream to be able to do Nightfall, literally release all 5 issues, like in the order that they're supposed to. Like, Nightfall is in my opinion, a true trade paperback.
Mm-hmm.
In that we were able to release the issues sequentially and then compile them into a trade, as opposed to, I've seen it on Kickstarter before, which is fine, but where they promote it as a trade, and that's what it is the entire time. So I'm just insanely happy that I'm able to do it.
And that's hold that up again, because the cover art,
man, Sean Hill, right?
God, it's so good.
Right, Sean Hill is a master, man. And also, you know what? I can't just say Sean Hill, because one, Sean Hill's colors are amazing. So full stop, Sean Hill's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But then also Tariq Holmes, who's currently on Kickstarter right now for Atlas. He's got a Kickstarter that I think just started maybe in the last 20 minutes. It just launched.
Oh, wow.
But he did amazing with the color work, man. It just matched Sean Hill's colors. I mean, Sean Hill's pencils so well. And Fabio Samao and Nestor Rajula,
Mm-hmm.
my Justice Art team, they did an amazing job throughout the book.
Yeah.
The book is just as beautiful, inside as it is outside. I love the bridge team, and yes, anybody asking, yes, this is from a meme because the meme was scary as shit,
You
man.
can't do that, Brian.
I know, right?
You can't use a meme.
No, I should just probably reuse ideas and never make books. Um, no, so I remember that meme. I saw that
Yeah.
meme in the middle of the night. It scared the shit out of me. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it's cool.
I mean, obviously, it was like a couple years ago, so who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a very, very kind of iconic image, and I love
Yeah.
iconic imagery, for lack of a better word. So again, it was just, man, it was a lot of fun. You get a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people on page. You get to beat down a big snake. Like, how do you
And
lose with
you're
that?
gonna have copies of that trade paperback available at an event coming up.
Oh yeah, silly me. Right, good job. This is why I have you. So Black Comics Day is going to be on February 11th and 12th in San Diego at the World Beat Center in California. Yes, I will have copies of Nightfall. I will have copies of Justice 1 through 3. I will have copies of Immortalis #1. I will have copies of her #1. We'll have posters as giveaways for the kids. Black Comics Day is always a great event. It was the first event that I went to in the indie comic space, and it's always been the most welcoming community.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I met Jason Reeves of 133 Art. That's where I met Greg Anderson Elise of Webway Comics and his None of the Wear Spider fame. That's where I met Keithan Jones, the creator of Black Comics Day, who also does Power Nights, and he did the cover that you're looking at behind us here. He did the wraparound cover for Nightfall. He's done a bunch of Justice pictures. Just really, really great people. It's a really fun event. It's free, so you can just pop in, check out all of the indie creators there, and have a lot of fun with that. Ooh, I'm
Very
also
cool.
going to get to do a panel. I get to talk mess, which is my
Oh,
favorite
cool.
thing. And it's going to be old versus new. Do audiences really want new characters, or do they just want repackaged old ones? And I think that's a very
That's a
interesting
good
conversation.
topic.
Right, right, right. Oh, okay. So next thing, moving forward, of all the titles, and obviously you get the background information. What are you most anticipating uh, from the future of Wingless Comics?
Ooh. I really want to see Scarlet Knight and Avery come on board as fully integrated into the Wingverse. So I'm excited to see that in 2023 here. Um, man, I can't wait for this first full arc of Justice to be done because I think there's some cool stuff that's going to happen after that. For those, I think I'm speaking right, Brian. So tell me, shut up if I'm wrong. But the Nightfall saga actually takes place after the first full arc of Justice, right?
Yes, yes,
So once it'll be really cool having all that reading order out there and right in the right way so that people can read it. I'm looking forward to that. God, man, I'm this year's just going to be really cool. Her issue 2. We've been dabbling in some discussions of the next crossover that'll happen in 2024. So for me, behind the scenes, see, being part of those conversations and knowing what's going to come in 2024, is I'm really excited about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So speaking of a couple things, and I'm trying my darndest to wait till Malachi gets here, but I don't know if I'm gonna
Hurry
make
up,
it.
Mal.
Right. The Wingless timeline. I'm gonna pop this up here. So obviously we have Immortalis in the Book of Godly, and we'll add some titles to this as things
Mm-hmm.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the Book of Wingless will be up there, and anything else we do in the history historically. Excuse me. Um, Justice. Uh, Damn near everything is, as far as Justice goes so far, happens before Nightfall.
Yeah.
Uh, because it's cool. And also, I didn't want to. I didn't want timing to stop us from being able to really, really jump into telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the storytelling part is very, very important to me, anyway.
Yeah.
You've got some history with Avery, and Avery is going to toe the line between the beginning of Nightfall and when we see Avery for the first time. They're on the line with each other, obviously. And then moving forward, we have everything that comes after Nightfall, and
Hmm.
everything that really is a fallout because of Nightfall. So,
Hmm.
it'll be very, very easy to understand once we're all done.
I personally also love the concept of the Saber Initiative. And we've only seen issue 0 of that so far because it takes place post Nightfall. But I have some ideas of how things from Immortalis can eventually tie into the Saber Initiative. But that title really, really intrigues me.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be done and a lot that can be done. If for no
Hmm.
other reason, then it's not like everything else.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I like about Immortalis. Um, I look, Danny, I love you, Danny, with the hard hitting questions. Uh, so Saber Initiative is good, and it's a chance to explore the greater world without
Hmm.
having the overarching um, doom and gloom of
Yeah.
superpowered people or powered people going against each other necessarily
Yeah.
in every issue.
Precisely.
So it's awesome. Danny asks, how many issues is the first arc of Justice? Justice is 4 issues. The first arc, so you will see the end of the first arc May this year. I like launching Justice right around my birthday. It's like a birthday present to myself. So you'll see the end of Justice's, excuse me, first arc this year, and obviously we'll package that in a trade as well and get that out to everyone. Scarlet Knight. Scarlet Knight is a very, very interesting story, and it's very, very interesting how it came about. I've known Jay again since I got into comics as well, and I saw the Scarlet Knight title. I had purchased it, read through it, and at one point or another, the core of the Scarlet Knight is um, a hero, a person, because but he's not a hero quite yet, stumbles upon a jewel that gives him power. But like the great said, right, with great power comes great responsibility. Um, so when that happens, it sends him on a course of events. Obviously, that'll change his life. Uh, One of the big pieces, and this is before Scarlet Knight even joined Wingless Comics, is that Merlin is a big piece of what's going on. Merlin and the Round Table. Anybody who knows me knows I love the Round Table. That's why you got Caliburn. That's why you have all these other things and blah, blah, blah. So once I saw Merlin was in there, I saw a chance to bridge a gap in creating some characters and creating some stories in an intercompany type discipline. Um, Jay is dope, and so he wanted to kind of jump in and jump on, and he was with it. And so what you'll see in Scarlet Knight issue 3 is Scarlet Knight having a soft reboot, for lack of better words, as he joins the Wingless universe. It's a tale of courage. It's a tale of chivalry, because chivalry is all about fighting. Regardless of what you've been told, it's not just about being nice to women. It's more about fighting. It's like 99% fighting,
Liar.
right? And it's obviously it has links again that we're going to see. The thing about a lot of this is that you're going to be able to see a lot of these links come together. I promise you, Immortalis links to everything that you're going to see. And this is kind of how the storytelling is going. So if I'm telling you about Merlin, who we've seen in Nightfall, if I'm telling you about the Round Table, if I'm telling you about Caliburn, all these things are going to tie up. And so you can't have Immortalis without these things, and you can't have these things without Immortalis because it's all historical. So there's a very, very, very cool story once we finish an arc or two, um, when all these things will kind of come together. I don't want to say more. I really do want to say more, but I guess I look, man. Scarlet Knight, Caliburn, and a couple other people will meet
Mhm.
in a pretty fucking awesome manner. Just give me like a year and a half so we can finish these other stories. Um,
Danny wants to know if there's any wingless perks for Indie Comics Dispatch patrons. Maybe we can work that out, Danny.
yeah,
At least maybe some Danny perks.
right, right. I feel like Danny has all the stuff anyway.
He
But
does.
yes, yes, we'll get something going. We will
Yeah.
definitely get something going. Uh, the man with the red beanie has
I
entered the
know.
chat, and he actually wouldn't put on the red beanie, especially I think, because I don't
Oh
think he had it
yeah.
on there first.
No, he didn't.
Okay, cool. So I guess without further ado, we will welcome Malachi Bailey.
just blow up my entire spot. Just tell the entire world.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna let you have that.
Like, oh
No.
my God. Hey guys.
He's gonna be like, magically, I didn't even know. Yeah,
Oh
no,
my
man.
gosh.
We knew.
Who knew?
Everyone knows. Yeah, man. How are you, Mal?
I am better. It's good to see y'all and to
Good.
Good to see
celebrate
you.
today. So I'm thrown off because Brian's not wearing his glasses.
Oh,
Your glasses are black. I'm used to the red
I
ones.
know.
I mean, this is
Middle of
strange.
a work day. I wore the work glasses. Sorry.
right. New year, new me.
I guess.
I put on the contacts to shave earlier, and I
What
just
is happening at your home, Malachi Bailey? What is happening?
Ever since I did the iPhone upgrade, it will not let me do not disturb anymore.
That's
So I
weird.
get
wow, really?
calls from Vietnam, from Russia. This
Wow.
is my life is a hot mess right now. But
Why do you have that 2006 ringtone though? Like, it's
it's
just
only ringtone.
16 years ago, man.
So the ringtone that I have now is like a gothic, creepy theme song. But when I get unknown calls, it's just on the generic one. So.
Oh, okay.
But I never hear it because I had it on Do Not Disturb. So
Yeah.
whatever. It's cool.
Okay. Yeah, man.
Well, someone do a recap for me because I've been going for the last 32 minutes. Hey, Danny.
Danny, we're gonna have to get Danny a #1 supporter T-shirt or
Yeah, something.
like my best friend. It's like best friend, and then it points to like Danny or some shit, right? Like, so hey, Danny, no, but for real, man, thank you for engaging us and talking to us, man, and being oh, hey, Mal, he gave you a tip. Why would you have to tell Siri to put it on? Are you sure you're doing it right? You didn't just do the top scroll thing?
I'll play with it later because it's so annoying. I did a search on Google and it said it's a problem anyway. So
Okay.
Little known fact: Malachi is actually a boomer. So
right, he doesn't understand technology.
in my spirit, boomer.
Right. So Mal, we just went over what's new for Immortalis. We kind of talked a little bit about Nightfall. We said what's going to come out this year, but we obviously haven't gotten into the specific titles. I mean, obviously outside of Immortalis, which I should have put up the Immortalis #1 cover because I still love it.
It's a hot cover.
Yeah, I really fucking like this cover. So obviously we'll be bringing out some more covers and some more awesome stuff for you guys this year as far as Immortalis goes. And again, the story's going to progress, and it's going in a real cool yet fucked up direction because everybody dies. It's our Rogue One, FYI, guys. Right? I don't know if you guys know history, but Constantinople didn't make it out.
No,
no.
No. My friend Beverly, she said he is still dead even now.
Right. So obviously, Malachi, you had congratulations. Obviously, we haven't said it like online, right? All of us together. You had Wingless Comics' highest grossing Kickstarter to date.
Thank you.
Crossed that 10K barrier, which is a bitch, with a floppy. So congratulations to that. Her #1. So
I guarantee you, when it crossed the 10K barrier, it was no longer floppy, Brian.
I'm so mad that caught me by such surprise. I don't know why it did, and it shouldn't have.
No, it shouldn't have.
So we are currently in the fulfillment process, Mal. So go into a little detail about that, and then we'll talk about the future.
So first and foremost, thank you, Brian, for the opportunity to use this platform for her.
Malachi was raised in church. You could tell by the intro.
Actually,
giving honor to our pastor.
Actually, not really. You're blaming it on customer service training because that's like ingrained in me. But yes, first and foremost, thank you, Brian. We've had this conversation before. Her as a entity was already in existence for a couple years by the time we met, and by your support, by you actually reading the first few pages of the re-release novel, you say, let me give him a chance to bring this to a different platform. Even though I had known people in the indie community.
Mhm.
But you was the first and only one to see the potential there, and here we are. What, but two? Let's say 2.5 years later, because it's
Yeah.
still January-ish. Here we are now. She's the first lady of Wingless. We had this historic Kickstarter that was all of these moving parts, and there's even more moving parts with the fulfillment. But
Yes.
this is something that was anticipated um, in that regard. But as a whole, like if you would have asked me back in 2015 when I was, told to write this novel, did I see myself years later doing a comic book and planning on going to conventions across the country? Absolutely not. So for that alone, I'm very thankful and appreciative. Um, I'm excited. You may not see it right now, but I'm excited for the future. I'm excited, not just for her, but I'm excited for Justice and Caliburn and Lux and of course, my girl Galu. So it's we have so many stories that we want to tell. And it kind of goes back to, one of our earlier conversations where, we devised a 5-year plan. Like this is what we want to tell. These stories aren't dated, they could be told at any point. But first we need to do the work. We need to lay down the groundwork. And that's something that you don't see a lot across the board, with other titles. They want to just get out the first issue and that's that. No, this is the long game for us. We want to establish the groundwork for us to continue to soar. So,
As it
um,
were.
as it were, so I'm thrilled that we're doing this. Um, I look forward to our Wingless Plus days. I get really like giddy and like childish.
What?
Ah, no, right? So this is cool. I'm glad that the big three are assembling for this. So thanks for giving us the time to shine.
So, the big question.
Oh gosh.
What what do we have in store for the audience for issue 2 and kind of beyond?
So I try to be proactive, and that yeah, they all died. Everybody, they be dead, dead. Um, so Brian, you already know that when we first started doing the script for number one, we did the first 5 issues or so, and of course we need to go back and revise a lot of it. But we already have the plan in place. Obviously, there are things that I want to trim or tweak, to make it more concise and to go more with the flow of the story now, because things change over time. So, with this in mind, with this event in mind, I wanted to show something, for number two. So I've reached out to Dino, who is my artist, and I said, "Hey, we're doing Wingless Plus Day in a couple of weeks. Um, can you start working on number two?" And he said, "Oh yes, Malachi, I can do this." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, "All right, cool." I said, "So this is what I want. Here's the cover idea, and see what you can do." So he managed to complete it for me a couple of days ago. I don't know. Are we going to show it, Brian?
I mean, okay, you haven't. I want to know what the story is.
Oh, you mean the story?
I want to know what's happening.
I want to see the cover again.
Story basically. Can I even spoil like what happened at the end of number one? At this point, does it matter?
I mean, I feel like you're a writer. I feel like there are ways to look. You
You
just said a bunch of words that
know
were
how I
like
get.
7 words, right? So like you could. I feel like you can do it.
Okay, so number two, her is pretty much going against one of her greatest threats, and in the process, they're gonna like shred her mind, layer by layer, and it's gonna be like a revisit to her past lives. And
I want
by
that.
doing that, I'm gonna show how she looked, at certain points in the time stream, and I may even like do like a possible like vision of how she looks in the future.
Really, Storm?
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's what I'm playing
Is she
with.
gonna be on Krakoa or is it stay on Araco? I just wanna. Are the sins that she goes through sinister, or are they just regular sins?
They are going to be wingless sins.
The
Now,
wrongs.
hold on.
Oh,
Serious question.
Okay.
Are we going to see what she looks like in the Byzantine era?
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, Brett, because I want us to actually work on a commission with them together. So I don't know if you want to,
Yes.
of course, I don't know if you want to do it for Immortalis #2 as a poster, or maybe for her #2 later on this year.
Yeah,
But
whichever.
You literally have two #2s coming out. Both of you guys have books coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Posters.
We don't fucking play around.
Like, what? It's super
We got
simple.
things to do. We got stories to tell.
I wonder if an immortal person like Gailu would be in the present, and so you could do one in the present and one in the past.
I don't know. Who says she's
I wonder.
immortal? Oh wait, I did.
Yeah, I was like, what?
In the name.
Like her whole thing. Like that's literally her deal. Like, hi guys, I can live forever.
Well,
So we have to work on that, Brett.
Yeah. Love it.
Because I think a couple months ago when Brett and I were really talking about it, we were going back and forth through DMs, showing like, okay, so her could wear this outfit.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
Civilian clothes, no matter what.
God, you guys in the civilian clothes, man.
When our superheroes, G, and the powering up, I fucking love it. Project B. You need to be more specific. Within the indie community or like Marvel, DC, because we have big dreams.
That is a very, very good addition
Right?
to that question. Yeah.
It's loaded like a baked potato.
So,
I don't know where that came from.
right? Like, what? This is what happens when too much Malachi.
We all three haven't been on a stream together in like months either. Like it's been a long time.
Longer than that.
Yeah.
It's like it's at least 6-8 months.
Yeah.
At least.
So
yeah, I'll wait for Leonard to chime in and let us know. Are we talking about indie stuff? Or are we talking about mainstream? Because I think that is vastly different. Oh, your property. Oh, sorry, I should pop that up.
Yeah.
Your property and another indie creator. Ooh, you guys can answer because I got stuff already.
Okay. So what I kind of want to do, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with a comic book company called Rising Eagle Comics. They are good friends of mine. I want to work with them in some capacity. They currently have a Kickstarter now that's doing well. So that's me personally.
Brett?
I don't know. Immortalis is at a really weird spot. So like if we took it to the future, like present day, there's probably so many titles that I would love to cross over with. But where it's set right now, I'm not sure that there's any titles that really work with it crossing over. Honestly, two of the titles that I would most love to cross over, which maybe we eventually will, are Wingless properties, and that'd be her and Saber Initiative. Yeah. So those would be the first two that come to mind. And then there's various other stuff that's come out recently that would be cool to cross over with. Like it'd be kind of cool to do like a Gailu, Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer crossover at some point.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Write that down, David.
Yeah,
right.
That is actually genius.
So,
okay.
Brian.
To be fair, I think I already have the crossover I want to do. I've reached out to a couple indie creators, and I'm not talking about Nightfall. I've actually already reached out to a couple of indie creators, and I have a Seven Samurai, 13 Assassins, Beowulf, type epic story that I'm kind of putting together. And I mean, it includes, oh God, who does it include? Characters from Hinte Entertainment with Dorothy's Gene, Unlikely Hero Studios, FSK, Fourth Wall,
Okay.
and like two or three others, honestly.
Nice.
And so it's like one of those, it's a passion project, even more than like Nightfall was or is. Just kind of getting all these characters together, creating a reason for them to be together, and kind of doing that. And again, telling some slightly different stories than I normally tell.
Mhm.
So I might have that on the docket for the next, year or two already.
Nice.
That sounds delicious.
It'll definitely, if I can pull it off, which I mean, who knows if I can. It'll be definitely awesome.
You can't pull it off, please.
We never know. So we got a couple things that I want to discuss. Obviously, before we end anything or before we get too far, and I'm gonna do cart before the horse because I always do.
You always do.
Right. So we've kind of teased it, but for what we're going to do, what Wingless Comics is going to do moving forward is, in addition to telling our serialized stories that our characters are in, we're going to keep that same Nightfall type format where we're telling these stories that continue down their timeline without interfering, excuse me, with the story arcs that we're in moment to moment.
Okay.
So to that end, they probably won't be 5 parts anymore, probably 1 or 2 parts, but trades. So we're getting larger books, taking a little bit more time to curate them, but giving you guys more material so we don't have to do 5 issues. The 5-issue haul was kind of hard
was a
with
big
Kickstarters
lift.
and everything else. So I feel like if we do them, even if we're getting the same page count, if we're just breaking them into 1 or 2, it kind of helps. It just moves things a little bit more forward. So again, to that end, I'm going to reveal a prefab logo here for us. So what was that? What was this? It turned into a raptor or something? I don't know what that was, man.
He saw his baby materialize on screen and he just lost it.
Right. So yes, the next big chapter. I should have put like 2024 down at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
But the next, big chapter in the overarching Wingless saga will debut in 2024. Again, I'm not going to give you a month because I'm not exactly sure. But 2024, we start the next journey for our characters collectively. Malachi, would you like to give a spoiler-free teaser?
Brian, it's hard for me to do that.
I'm trying to make you grow. You're welcome.
I mean, so Paradise Lost is one of our first stories that we came up with. I want to say, probably within the first 3 months of us knowing each other, and basically 2 very well-known characters, they come to Earth and they want to take back what is theirs. Only there's a small thing called humanity that lives on this planet who would have something to say against it, and they're not going to be strong enough to repel this threat. However, we do have the heroes of Wingless who will come together to stop them. But when you see these 2 characters, I'm not going to say names because it is so fucking delicious. You're going to be shocked. You're going to gag. You're going to stutter and sputter, and I'm going to laugh real fucking hard. But yeah, Paradise Lost is my baby, and I'm excited about pinning this particular event. It's long coming. We've been wanting to do this for a minute. So 2024, you shall see it. Please keep keep tight, hold tight rather, and hold on to your wig. Those edges will be lost to the wind. We will have no hope of trying to reclaim them. They're just gone. But yes, I'm super excited about Paradise Lost. Like, if I had shoes on right now, I would kick them off across the room.
Yeah, Paradise Lost is going to be, yeah, it's going to be just as eventful and dare I say groundbreaking as Nightfall. Because even if Nightfall wasn't groundbreaking for the entire industry, it was groundbreaking for us. And
Most
so
importantly.
all of our stories are like that. And so I can't wait to see this next multi-character crossover,
Mhm.
and what comes of that.
And I already told you offline, Brian, but I love the logo for Paradise
Yeah,
Lost.
yeah.
That
I will say I did hastily put that one together 10 minutes before the broadcast because I remembered I was like, oh shit, I don't have the thing that I was supposed to do, right? And I lost the original, obviously, because it's me. Um,
I remember the original, but it's similar though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
Similar.
recreated it from my brain. I was like, oh, I think this is what it is. And I
Yeah,
think I'm missing like one or two little touches, but I
it's
was like,
very close.
I needed to make sure I got it because I was like, ah, shit, I fucked this one totally up. So, I wanted to make sure that we obviously got it in. But yeah, yeah, it's going to be a very, very, man, I love writing stories and I love what we're doing. So it's going to be
Mhm.
super, super fun. And again, that's something that we're going to build to in the future.
Mhm.
I'm in the very near future. So it's going to be just great to have these characters on screen.
And I love about Wingless, saying this as a fan who's now a part of Wingless. The Wingless universe, the Wingverse, is really truly one of the few indie interconnected universes with multiple titles. Like the
Mhm.
way things connect throughout the Wingverse, we said it earlier, but like it's really cool, and that's what enables these crossover events to be able to happen.
Yeah,
Um, because everything's woven together. It's not just shotgun
yeah.
done.
So I do got to give, to be fair, right? Like I'll give Lonzo Star from Concrete Comics and props, and even Jamil Lessie, right? Because we had like when I was with them and I worked with them for quite a bit of time, almost a year or whatever. Um, the three of us had like lengthy conversations, hour-long conversations, the same way we do now, about how the world works and the mechanics and different things. And so you see some of that interconnectivity with their books as well,
Mhm.
at least in the early going. Some of they've kind of branched off and they're kind of telling their own stories now.
Yeah.
Um, but Lonzo used to say this one thing like, if Acolyte blows a hole in the moon, then Absolver's going to see it. You know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
I kind of that's something that I always kept in my mind of that the ripples, the things that Justice does that ripples into the next comic, right? So you'll see Justice and Caliburn interact because Justice did this one thing and Caliburn witnessed it, or vice versa.
Mhm.
You see the ripples of her in Nightfall, right? Like there's fighting in San Francisco. That's
Mhm.
where her happens to live. So yeah, she's got to show up. It doesn't
Mhm.
make sense if she wouldn't. Jinx is going to save someone in Nightfall, and so you get your favorite red spectacled mercenary out there with his cameo. So that's the important part to me of like making it organic. It's real easy to just throw a bunch of people in. Oh, they met each other because they both shoot guns, and so like, oh, I met at the mall. Like, bro, like
The
No.
come
mall.
on. Look, I feel like a lot of people still try to write like it's the '90s X-Men
Yeah.
comic, and
Yeah.
nostalgically, I love the '90s X-Men comic. Is it written kind of poorly? Pieces of it are like there are things that are just very like happenstancy, and so I never wanted to do that. That goes into Saber Initiative. Saber Initiative rolls out of Nightfall, right? Like
Mhm.
the next thing rolls out of the other thing. When again, you haven't seen it yet, but when you see how and why Scarlet Knight is introduced, um,
Right to that.
you're gonna
Mhm.
you're gonna understand. Again, it's just got another one of those links. I don't want to spoil it because even Jay doesn't know it yet, and I haven't even dropped it to you guys. But it's gonna be really cool. Just FYI, it's gonna be dope as shit. Um, so yeah, Avery, when Avery comes in, no, does she know Justice? Do they know each other? No, but they've heard about each other, right?
Mhm.
Why is she
Mhm.
there? Because she's guarding the president, and blah blah blah, or whatever else. So I think that that makes a lot more sense. I used to hate Marvel back in the like maybe 80s or whatever, when like you had a bajillion people in New York, like a bajillion heroes in New York. Yeah, right.
We were
Hey, I
so
might do that anyway, Rob, just for shits and giggles. Like one mission, they're all gonna have the old school X-Men costume style. But no, I hated it back in like the 80s where like you had Spider-Man and Punisher and Daredevil, and you know what I mean? Like everybody was in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and they never saw each other. Like
Yeah.
my brain, I couldn't wrap my brain around it.
There was one instance, and they actually replicated it back in '97. But when the X-Men had the first Christmas together, the all new or different team, you see Nick Fury and Contessa in the crowd near Rockefeller Center.
Yeah.
And then they did it again in '97 with the Shi'ar team of X-Men, and you see Punisher in the crowd.
Yeah.
I love seeing stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is so. It shows that we are a part of a bigger universe.
Yeah.
For her, number one, I was so excited. Like, it's the Easter egg that I put in there. When you see Ramona's introduction, to the title, and you see how her room is junked up with all the books and everything, and she has that poster in the background. People may like glance over it, like, no, that's an actual character that's in Wingless. That's Derek Cannon. He is the premier superhero. So I love that we have, that connective tissue, and we're going to keep doing that. With product placement, and particularly when I go into more detail with Ramona's bookstore, the writer's block, I want to see references to some, stuff that Brian might have worked on, something like that.
Right. Speaking of, I'm gonna do something here because obviously a lot of people have already seen it, and it does sometimes feel like it's like me being me, right? Anybody who knows me. This is Kyle Hunter, right? Is an actual character. Does Kyle Hunter look exactly like me? Yes. Is that an accident? No. I'm going to say that off the rip. It is not an accident. And yes, he is a character that you will see moving forward in Wingless Comics. It comes from my novel series, Ascension. You're going to see more on a number of levels with the character. So I've had some people ask me like offline, like people are like, oh, everybody's asking me. No, not everybody. I've had like 3 people ask me like, what's fucking
everybody?
And like, why do you have a shirt? Danny Quick will be the first one. Like, why are you wearing a shirt of yourself? And I'm like, well, I kind of am, but I kind of not.
It's so inappropriate.
Excuse me. So, Kyle, just like everything else that goes into the histories and goes into these things, is going to have some very deep connective tissue to some of your favorite characters that are yet to be announced, or no, not yet to be announced, but their connection is yet to be displayed. But all things work together in Wingless Comics, so obviously be prepared for that. It's just really cool. I have a really fucking lot of fun doing this stuff. Your favorite teenage, light-powered child will be back. Lux Zero. Amazing cover, amazing issue. We're just getting started with Lux's story. It's very important to me, obviously, because I think it's very important we talk about diversity, so it's important to give people their time to shine, and obviously our young teenage hero's got to do her thing. Like I said, Jinx, we're going to finally see some Jinx material coming pretty soon.
Thank God.
Right. Mike, my brother, who is the person that is the creator of Jinx, was supposed to be on the stream, but he sucks, and I can say that because he's not on the stream.
Jesus Christ, Mike.
Right. But yes, a lot of really, really, really great things coming down the pipe.
Well, I get Facebook messages, Instagram messages, and snail mail. People write me letters wondering if a certain ponytailed special forces commander will be back.
Right. Everybody's asking.
Everybody says.
I don't think he has a choice but to be honest with you.
Right? I mean, he's a fan favorite.
Right. It's time to dispatch.
I just walk around saying that line, and Summer shakes her head at me like, God damn it, Brian.
You should get that into a T-shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I can't be the only one wearing my face out here. So funny, not funny, hilarious story. But you should have seen Malachi's face when I showed him because I was going to show you. I was like, "Hey, don't tell Brett, but this is going to happen." And Malachi's fucking face, man, it was amazing. It was hilarious.
That's
But
hilarious.
also, man, if we don't do this stuff to ourselves for ourselves, like,
Yeah,
why are we doing it?
exactly.
So yeah, man. We have. I mean, we've come down to an hour. I don't want to keep anybody too long. I
Yeah,
know
I
we got
gotta run in
lives.
just a minute, guys. So if
Um,
I disappear,
I was gonna say, do we
sorry.
have any last things before we go? Before we sign off?
Have you
Obviously,
showed
Brett, you
everything you
first.
wanted to show?
I think
Hold
so,
on.
man. We've got a lot of things.
Did
Yeah,
I wanted to show the cover.
we skipped that on purpose.
So we're gonna hold on to that then?
We skipped that on purpose.
Skipped what?
We don't have a cover for her number 2 yet.
Well, we kind of do.
I know. Damn, shut up. I know that was
I mean,
I know.
I mean, I'm on Mel's side
I
here.
Team spoiler twice over here.
oh my God.
Did you
Gosh,
upload the
context clues? Context
Immortalis 2 possibility? It's not going to be the final cover, but it's a cool
I
image.
actually completely
Did I see
don't
that?
have it on my computer.
What?
I don't have it on my computer.
You've
I
seen
thought I
it.
did. No, Malachi hasn't.
He
I don't think
hasn't?
No.
Oh.
If you have it, Brett, drop it if you can. I don't have it on my computer.
I don't think I have it on this computer.
Oh my God, y'all.
Yeah, it's on my iPad, so I kind of.
You're gonna love it, Mal.
It actually is.
Like
You are gonna love
It's not the official cover, but it's probably maybe a variant.
it. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm here for it, obviously.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's
Yeah.
we've got a lot going on. Oh, I can't forget, the Kingdom, Broken Kingdom is still in production. As we kind of not transition, but we kind of spread our wings and start moving into some manga webtoons style productions, as well as Crimson, which it's in development, so it'll be debuting at some point. But again, we just have to do these things, I think, in a fashion that it behooves progress, and that's the biggest part of it. Yeah. So that's that.
It's gonna be a fun year. It's gonna be a really fun year.
It's gonna be a busy year. I feel like I'm gonna be crazy.
Mal, check the group chat.
Again.
Okay. And I get to see Brian in 2 weeks, so that should be fun.
Yes. Black Comics Day. We did speak about that. Black Comics Day on February 11th and 12th. Man, it's gonna be a great time. Really looking forward to it. Being back in the sales and being back with the guys. So when we get compliments like this, like I can call it a night. Robert Jeffrey is one of my favorite writers out there in the indie scene, man. He's one of my favorite writers, period, not just in the indie scene, but the man is dope. I've had the pleasure and the blessing of being able to edit some of his work before.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of the easiest, he's much easier than Malachi to work with. It's true. He's such a nice guy. Malachi is mean. Again,
yeah, that's true. I can be I can be cruel.
Yeah. So
now we have it on video. If we're gonna snip this clip,
right?
I can't lie. It's true. Yeah, but I love the cover.
Right, gentlemen.
Love it,
gentlemen. Thank you, and we will tease or debut both covers at some point in the near future, for the audience. But right now, it's just for us.
All right.
So, gentlemen, again, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate doing Wingless Plus Day like this. I know last year we just dropped a bunch of videos and we had some interviews. I really just wanted to interact with you guys this year. We may switch formats next year or in the next 6 months. We'll figure it out. But thank you guys for being here. As I said, look out for us on Kickstarter. We're going to be on Kickstarter starting March with Scarlet Knight. We're going to be at Black Comics Day in February. And we are going to be in your faces throughout the year. I know we slowed down a little bit towards the end of last year. We had a lot to do. We still have a lot of fulfillment, but now we are back and in creating mode as opposed to business mode. So thank you guys for sticking in with us, and we will see you all next time.
Bye, people.
Bye bye.